Recording in progress. That is always what I need to hear. Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Hamilton, your lead instructor here at Sampson Properties, along with my friends and that are hanging out with me today in this class. So in this session today, this is our marketing mastery class, and we're going to it's still connected to marketing, but it's still planning and tracking. So we're going to talk about strategic planning for Q3, which is the third quarter here of the year. The beauty of this is you can actually kick it off at any time. It doesn't have to be at the start of a fresh quarter, but it definitely is some tools that will help you get your momentum going. So, quick reminder to everyone, I do have 3 classes every week that I do offer. First thing on Monday morning at 10:30. We do Boost, and that is to help you get your blinders on, focus on the week ahead, looking at your calendar, saying, okay, what are the time blocks that are already committed? What are my priorities for the week? How many hours do I want to work on my business? And then what are the tasks that you need to focus on to get that all done? So that is our Monday morning, 10:30 boost call. The other thing that I do is 2 classes here on Thursday. The 1 o'clock class is about business skill builders, and then our 2:30 class is the marketing mastery. So I try to take and have fresh classes every week. We repeat maybe once a year, but we do have most of these recorded, and they are currently sitting on my website, which is lynnhamilton.samsonproperties.net. I have developed out an agent resource center tab for you with the drop down box of, I think there's 5 or 6 drop down boxes, each page giving you specific either bonus handouts. There's one on common mistakes. There are a bunch of quick fun videos. There's how-to instructions because again, I started being asked a lot, well, I don't know how to do that. Can you help me? And I thought, okay, if one person is asked, there's probably 101 that need to know how to do it as well. So I try to keep on top of those. So if there's something that we're taking you through for either adding to your website or creating through reports or newsletters or even making sure your email signature is compliant, we've got how-to videos on that tab. The next one is the learning trails. That is our unique Sampson footprint that allows our agents to go through methodically, in order, step by step, the classes that will best guide them through in order. Because that's what our brains want. I know all brokerages have always been able to boast that they've got phenomenal training. And you're right, a lot of them do. But the challenge is no one has presented it to an agent in order. So you got agents bouncing around from class to class like a pinball game, not knowing what to go to next, where it's going to help them, what the benefit's going to be, where the long, and how that piece and this piece connect together, just like putting a puzzle together. So that's why we call it the real estate missing piece, and it is putting it together in order for our agents. And then the last tab on the Agent Resource Center is the Listen and Learn tab. That is where you're going to find most of the Thursday recorded sessions. If there's a handout, I've got the handout there for you and the recording as well. So that is why recording is in progress, because we're going to be recording this one and then I'll be downloading it later for you if you need it for a replay. Make sure that if you listen to any of the Thursday classes, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way it will give you a ping notification when I post a new video, but it will also allow it to be shared with more and more of our agents, making everyone smarter and more brilliant than ever before. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead, jump head first into this one. Again, this is strategic planning for Q3 of this year. And the subtitle to this one is Success Doesn't Happen by Accident. So we're going to take a look at what works, what doesn't, and some good suggestions. So most agents don't have a marketing problem. They have a planning problem. The average agent wakes up every morning and asking, what should I be doing today? Where top producers wake up knowing exactly what is on their to-do schedule for the day. Now, in our session earlier today, done by noon, which is already on the website for you, we talk about time blocking and what tasks should kind of be getting done in the various time blocks as you build out your day. So here are some other fun. I always like to do this. So I'll often run and say, okay, if this is what I'm calling the class, what are other fun titles that could go along with that class as well? So here are a few just to give you a giggle. The next 12 weeks. That's pretty on spot. Your 90-day success blueprint. Plan it, do it, grow it. The 12-week business sprint. Success doesn't happen by accident. Building your next 90 days. We could also call it your business GPS. Don't drift, direct. The agent action plan, or the 90-day business reset. Now, those are all fun titles, any of which would be appropriate for tapping into this to this particular topic. So with that, let's go ahead. I'm going to ask you a question. Imagine we're going to get in the car and go on a trip. It's summertime. A lot of people are taking vacation trips. But let's say we get in the car and you say, I think I'm going to drive, I don't know, somewhere today. And I hope that we arrive somewhere wonderful. That's typically not what we do. So if we're going to take a road trip, we're going to know exactly, specific, where our end destination is going to be. We're going to know specific how many miles roughly it is, converting it into how many hours of travel, how many, what we need for clothes, what we need for stuff in the car, what we need for weather conditions. So we plan out vacations for the most part way better than we ever plan out our business strategy. So the takeaway is, again, most agents wake up on Monday and have no idea what their week is going to look like, let alone the month or anything else. This is why we've made such that commitment on Monday to provide you the Monday morning boost call. It's going to allow you to step back and say, okay, let's refocus. What do we need to get done? And more important, when are we going to do it? How many of you have ever said, I was busy all week, but I don't feel I got a whole lot accomplished? Anybody has ever had that happen? Busy isn't productive. Activity isn't progress. But planning will create progress. So here are some mistakes that agents often make. And give yourself a point if you made any of these. All right. So mistake number one is not having a written plan. They have ideas, but have no idea how to execute them. They have dreams, they have goals, but no roadmap. And the goal without a plan is simply a wish. So think about it, planning your business or your business week or your business month or the quarter the same way you would execute and plan out a vacation. So let's go down a list of other mistakes that agents often make is they try to do everything. You can't chase cats and squirrels at the same time and get them all. So you want to be careful that you're not, I'm going to try this, and then I'm going to try this, and then I'm going to try this. And I hear this all the time. I'm going to try Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or open houses or door knocking or cold calling or networking, or I'm going to learn Canva, or I'm going to need to work on my CRM. I need to work on my newsletter or blogging or email campaigns. And then they need to master new stuff because they don't have the skills, but actually do very few things consistently and to its full capacity. So again, that is often a mistake is they try to do everything. Mistake number three is they plan too far in advance. I jokingly say, we're always taught to have this year goal. Mm, over time, I've become a firm believer quarterly is 1,000 times better than an annual goal. Because here's what happens with an annual goal. Oh, I have all year to get it done. So January rolls around. Oh, it's cold, it's snowy, it's icy. I'm not going out. I got all year to get it done. Then February rolls around and all the bulbs start blooming. So now we got to go check those out. Well, then March rolls around and you've got, you know, oh, now you got cabin fever because you want to get out and you want to be out and about. And then April rolls around. Of course, we've got, various spring holidays and da 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 da. Well, I can do it later. I still have all year to get these things done. Then June rolls around and it's, oh my gosh, it's graduation, it's grandkids and kids graduating. And then you've got weddings and then you've got family reunions. And then, 4th of July is here before we know it. And oh, that's all right. I have all year to get all this stuff done. And then August rolls around. Well, now it's starting to get hot. I don't want to be out doing that stuff. So, we just kind of push it off because we still think that we have the rest of the year to do it. Well, then September rolls around. Well, now we got to help get everybody back to school between August and September. And then October rolls around. It's like, oh my gosh, well, Halloween. Oh my gosh, we get 1,000. Yeah, we get a $500 to $1,000, 500 to 1,000 trick or treaters in my neighborhood at my house. So we got to get our decorations out. We got to get the candy prepped. And oh my gosh, I don't have time. I got the rest of the year. I still have time to get it done. And then it's November, and you got to get ready for Thanksgiving because oh my gosh, I got everybody come over to the house, or you're going someplace, and I'll get it done later. And then next thing you know, it's December. Well, the holidays are coming up, and you've got family get-togethers and parties and this and that. And well, all of a sudden you stop dead in your tracks and you go, wait a minute, where did the year go? I didn't get any of my planned target things completed because all of a sudden the year got away from me because you kept telling yourself, I have the rest of the year. I have the whole year. Nah, that's where it backfires. So this is where there's a great book. If you've never ever got your hands on it, be a good one to add to your bookshelf. It's the 12-week year. And again, I got no skin in the game on it, but I'll tell you, it was a good book. It talks about focusing on a quarter, 12 weeks at a time, and put your total focus on what needs to get done, accomplished, and completed in the next 12 weeks or the next quarter that lies ahead. And that is actually better for us because it gives you momentum because you got a deadline. And you've got a deadline coming up. So another mistake that agents want to make or often make is they don't have a specific goal or they'll say, I want to sell 30 homes. Well, that's great. But come Monday morning, what is your strategic plan to help get to that? So again, if you're just looking at the quarter and you're knowing that, okay, this is typically the busiest time of the year. So if I can do, and I'm just going to make up numbers, I don't know where you're at production wise, and it doesn't matter if you've got one a quarter you want to do, or one a month you want to do, or one a week you want to do, or one a day you want to do. Know that what that target is, that is where you want to reach out to. Now, you got to remember that those transactions are not going to fall from the sky. I'm sorry. We've all seen The Wizard of Oz, and we know exactly what happens when stuff starts falling out of the sky. It does not get pretty. So you want to make sure that you don't get sucked down that whirlwind or tornado of fooling yourself thinking that it's just going to appear. If you want more business or you want your next step in the business, we need to be very direct with where is that going to come from. Now, hopefully you've all gone through Jumpstart session 4, where we talk about the 26, it used to be 24, I've upped it to 26, marketing options that are available to you. So you've got 26 variables. You're not going to do them all. And don't be a jack of all trades and a master of none. You've heard that saying before. You want to look at, as you go through Jumpstart and you get to session 4, you're going to look at those options and you say, okay, obviously my database is one that I want to build out. You need to know how many are in your database right now. Where do you want it to be at the end of one quarter? That's 12 weeks. Do you want 15 more in your database? That may not sound like a lot, but 15 more times 4 quarters, that's 60 new added to your database in 1 year. If you go, well, wait a minute, that's not too bad, but if I could do 2, that's 100 new potential clients added to your database over the course of a year. Break it down to a quarter. That's 2 a week. 2 a week over the next quarter, 12 weeks, that's 24. All of a sudden, 24 becomes a little more manageable and not as scary as 100. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's exactly how that scenario sets in. So I often share the analogy on this one, and it cracks people up because every time they then go to take their vitamins, they think about this, which is the intent. All right, so how many of you take vitamins? Raise your hand. Do you take the whole bottle the first of the month? No, you do not, because you would be sick in the emergency room getting your stomach pumped. I'm just putting that out there. It typically says take 1 or 2 a day. 1 a day, 1 a day, 2 a day, all good. It does not say take the whole bottle all at once. The same thing applies when you are looking at adding 2 a week, 24 a quarter into your database, because that is where your future business is going to come from. We have seen stats and numbers until the cows come home, and it's repeated over and over again that you are more likely to have someone turn to you that already knows you, likes you, and trusts you, as long as they remember that you are still in business. So in our class earlier today, one of the things we talked about was, I got to pull my note because it was a really good line. I wanted to get this right. All right, people don't need a real estate agent every day, but they need to remember one when the day comes that they need one. This ties right in to what we've been teaching all along. You cannot convince someone to make a move. All you can do is remind them that you are still in business, so that when the day comes that their home no longer meets their needs, you are top of mind. Just like McDonald's. McDonald's has been around forever. They still advertise, same marketing concept, no different to what the product or service is. So, what are some of the things that you can make sure that you are doing? And this is part of the strategy in planning out and mapping out the quarter. If you have not compiled your database, I'm going to say that should be probably be step number 1. Think about anybody and everybody you know. Do you like them? That's usually a good thing. Do they know you? Do they like you? That's even a good thing too. And do they know that you're still active in the real estate world? So how do you do that with a gentle monthly touch that's not annoying and is not, to a point where they don't even want to talk to you anymore? One of the best ones is that newsletter. And we've talked about that multiple times. That is one of the best little tap, tap, tap. Hey, I'm still in business. Even if you don't talk to them, they see it. They know that you're still in business. It reminds them you're still in business. Gang, I will preach that until the cows come home, because that by far is the best way to remind people that you are gently still in business. is to have that monthly newsletter go out. Now, here at Samson, we got a couple of brilliant options. We have that beautiful 4-pager that can be mailed out. You need 200 to go out, $1.50 a piece. But when agents started saying, well, I'm not using it, and I started asking, well, why? They said, well, they didn't either have 200 or they didn't have the budget to support it. I said, okay, I got you. Plan B. We started introducing our agents to the free downloadable newsletter that was available through one of the home warranty companies. I made a ton of money off that thing because it went out every month. Now, then we even went, wait a minute. We have a marketing department here at Samson. Not all brokerages do. But then I went, wait a minute, why can't we get our marketing department to meet the needs of the agents who don't have 200 or don't have the funds to support that every month and get them a free downloadable? All they have to do is take the picture, take mine out or whoever's is in there, add their picture, their name, their phone number, their email, and their website. And if they want to do any specialized customization to it, it's easy breezy. They can mail it out. If you've only got 40 in your database, mail them. It doesn't take that long to sit down one evening and either label or handwrite out 40 envelopes to mail that newsletter out in. It can be saved in a format that'll allow you to attach it to an email. You can save it as a PNG, which is a photo, and add it into the email. Now, I know that many will say, well, it's if you email it to them, it's too easy for them to just go swipe and delete, swipe and delete, swipe and delete. Yes, that's true. However, at least they saw your name and recognized that you're still in business. Take it one step even better and use your theory of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5 contacts, 4 text messages, 3 emails, and say, hey, Joe, it's Lynn, your favorite realtor. I just emailed you over the newest newsletter. There was a great article in there. I thought of you. Hope you enjoy it. I'll check in with you later. Click, hang up on them. That's one touch. So not only they're getting it, but they're getting a message from you to go check it out as well. It can be a text message. It can be a follow-up email during the month that said, hey, I hope you enjoyed the last issue of the newsletter that came out on the first of the month. I was curious which article in there was your favorite. I'm just kind of doing a survey. If you're using your blog, that can also be an interactive. Hey, just curious, which article in that newsletter did you like the best? Which one kind of went, that was brilliant. That was good. Engage and interact with them. You don't always have to continually say, so you ready to buy or sell? You're ready to buy or sell. The fact that you're in real estate, they know that. And the fact that you're reminding them that you are there with a gentle touch is 1,000 times better than feeling that you're choking them out. Again, we cannot convince someone to move, but our job is to help them remember that you are still in business. So when that day comes, they think of you. When they're hungry, they're going to think of their favorite restaurant. When they're not feeling well, they think of their favorite doctor. When they're wanting a vacation, they think of their favorite vacation spot to go to. When they need, an attorney, people often have their favorite attorney to go to. When they need a real estate agent for something real estate related, wait, you want to make sure that you are their go-to source. Okay, so that's again kind of how that all ties in. Another common mistake that agents make is they quit too soon. This one always breaks my heart. So if you remember back in a lot of my trainings, you're going to hear me say it is not a one and done. It is never a one and done. If you are going to send out, I'm just going to make, a scenario here. We're often taught and shared to send out, I'm just going to make up a number, 200 or 100 or 300, whatever it is, of just listed or just sold to a particular geo farm around where the listing was. Yes, that can be a nice touch point. But if you have 50 or 100 or 200 in your database, I would rather send them to my database, those just listed or just sold cards, than to a one-touch geo farm. Why? Because I want my SOI to see that I'm engaging and I'm acting in or active in the real estate world. Now, a lot of trainers will teach, oh, no, you got to send it to the geo farm. Okay, that is a possibility. If you are geo farming that area, you're darn right you want to get it out to them because you want to make sure that they see you are active and engaged in that geo farm. But a one and done, typically 99.9% of the time, does not pay off. So, was that the most effective marketing way? McDonald's doesn't advertise around, an area where everyone's vegan. They don't put an ad for McDonald's in the vegan newspaper. I don't know if there is one, but it sounded good. But you get my point there. You advertise to your target. So again, be strategic with how and when and where. And again, most agents will quit too soon. Well, I sent 30 postcards out and I didn't get anything back, or I sent 50, magazines out and I didn't get anything back. It goes back to square one. We're not trying to convince someone to sell or to buy. We just need to remind them we're still in business. And when the day comes, they remember that we are still in business. There you go. All right. It is interesting that studies and stats over the last umpteen years has always shown that agents will typically quit after the second, third, or fourth attempt on mailing or sending something out because they didn't get immediate response back from it. That is a common mistake. Now, the counterpoint to that is, and we've discussed this before, is people need to hear from you for at least 9, 12, 18, 24 touch points before they realize and recognize who you are, what you do, and will remember you when the time comes that they need you. So we've got a big disparity between what agents will try and the reaction of the consumer. There's a huge gap. Agents will quit after the second, third, or fourth attempt. The consumer is just starting to recognize your color branding, your picture. They're just starting to recognize that you're sending them stuff on a regular basis. And agents will stop before the payoff comes in. So again, there's a huge mistake, but you want to be, and that's part of the category of being a strategic as well. All right. Another mistake that agents make is they often do not review their progress. I always encourage our agents, especially on our Mondays, to look over the shoulder and say, how did last week go? How did I do? I'm the boss. I'm the owner of my company. How did I do last week? Because as a real estate agent, good news is you're your own boss. The bad news is you are your own boss. So take a moment to say, okay, am I doing this consistently? Am I doing it, regular and consistent? Is this the right message to the right target? Do I need to tweak it or adjust it any? Is my question that I'm asking them tapping on or grinding their pain point, their sand in the shoes, whatever you want to call it? And are you reminding them that you are still there with a solution to what is perceived as their problem? Case in point, a lot of us like working the senior move down because they love, and again, it goes back to what is the key question? Does your home still meet your needs? And if you have not taken that challenge on, I'm going to double dog dare you to do it. Reach out to everyone that you know. I don't care if it's by phone, by email, or text, and say, just curious, does your home still meet your needs? Do you still love it? So in the email, I would put just curious in the subject line. And in the body of the email, not the hi, how are you, fluff and stuff, nothing. Quick question. Does your home still meet your needs? Do you still love it? Yes or no? Let me know. And that's it. Your signature line, hopefully that's properly structured. Get it out. Text message, phone call. I double dog dare you to use that as your messaging for the next couple of weeks. See what you get. All right. One of the challenges we find with agents as well is most people don't fail because they have a bad plan, is they fail because they never check the plan. So let's say, again, in reference back to the trip, we're going to go north. Well, okay, north on what freeway? North in what direction? North in how far? So again, they're not checking the plan that they one time had thought or had structured out. Okay. The other challenge that comes in, and again, this is part of strategic planning, is they don't time block. Okay. Good news, you're your own boss. Bad news, you're your own boss. This is why we have our Monday boost call. And if you don't have a chance to make it to the boost call, I do have on my website, which is the lynnhamilton.samsonproperties.net, I have the Agent Resource Center learning trails. It's about 14 minutes. It is a recorded video, and I walk you through the same questions I asked the gang on the call. So if you can't make it, you can still go listen to it and walk through yourself on it. But again, everything can feel urgent, like I got to deal with it all right now. Sometimes we need to step back and say, okay, what are the business things that need to be done? What are the personal things? What are the fun things? When are they going to do it? What needs to be done? When's it going to get done? And time block out. Gang, when you start actually time blocking out, you're going to find you're much more effective. You are much more efficient. You have more time because you're going to focus on getting the task done. And then you have more time to go play and do whatever. So remember that not everything is a crisis at the moment. The other challenge with that is nothing gets finished. Again, without the time blocking to get, it's what needs to be done, but when are you going to do it? What needs to be done? When are you going to do it? That is where time blocking comes in handy on your schedule. All right. As you're planning out your life, your world, and everything else, it is important to make sure that you have your financial goals, your personal goals, your health goals, and sometimes a health goal might be, I just need to drink one more glass of water every day. I need to replace 3 sodas every day by 2 sodas and 1 glass of water. I'm just making that up, but whatever it is, do you need to eat one better, healthier meal? So make sure that your health and your personal is there as well. It's not always just about business. There you go. All right. So when you're also planning out and you have the strategy of how your next quarter is going to go, it ties right into, the Jumpstart session 3 of getting your database in place. It ties into Jumpstart session 4 of your marketing pillars. What are the things that you enjoy doing for that? And I'm going to try to get away from calling it lead generation. It is nothing more than reminding your friends that you are still in business. That sounds a lot more fun than I need to prospect. I need to lead generate. No, you need to remind your friends and family that you're still in business. Go meet them for a soda or a coffee or a Slurpee, or hey, I got the grandkids, you got the grandkids. Let's go meet at the park and we'll chat for 5 minutes while the kids are playing. It doesn't matter. If you had a dog, take him to the dog park. Talk to the other dog owners while you're there. Bloom where you're planted. But it's again, it's not lead generation. It's not, boom, 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 boom. It is, I need to remind people that I'm still in business. That sounds a whole heck of a lot more fun. Okay. So make sure that you are also looking at what are the tire, we call them tires on the car, the marketing component that you want to build out. Now, your SOI, your sphere of influence is always number one, because we've already talked about that people will do business with you because they know you, like you, and trust you. It's a lot easier to be the go-to source for someone that already knows you than to convince someone that you are the preferred choice. So remind them you're still in business, but then where else do you want to pick business from? I don't care if it's you want to go to meetup groups where you meet other people, geofarming, open houses, expireds, networking, for sale by owners, those that are in default, going into default, whatever it is, have at least one other pillar that's going to allow you to, turn that pot to get leads coming into your pipeline. I know I'm going to step on toes, but I've always told people I've never been a real fan of buying leads because I've seen way too many agents go broke over buying leads. And I know, don't shoot me, I'm just the messenger. But in my opinion here, I know that a lot will, feel that their only option is to buy leads. Then they get financially strapped. And what they're getting is not quality leads. They're getting drunk inquiries from someone at 2 o'clock in the morning. This has been an issue for years and years and years. The consumer, when they go onto the various sites, they don't know that the minute they click the button and have to fill out the form, they don't understand that that information is being sold to agents to follow up with them. And so the next day they're getting bombarded with these calls. They're going, who are you and where'd you get my number? Well, you inquired on the property at 123, Beachfront Way. No, I was drunk and just wanted to know what the house was what the value, what they're selling for. So again, you've got to understand and realize where the inquiries are coming in from. You got to decide which area hits your hot button. And in Jumpstart Session 4, there are 26 that are spelled out for you. Then make sure that you have a plan every week, time blocked out, of how you're going to work on that particular pillar, one at a time, because it's too easy for us to get distracted and shuffling all over the place. Remember those pinball games where you put the little balls in there and you pull the lever back and it goes boom, 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 boom. Well, that's how most of our brains work. So we need to be careful that we're not contributing to that. There should always be a plan to grow your database. There should always be a plan every quarter, every 12 weeks. What new class do I need to attend every week or more? Is there a book that I want to get and read this month? Are there skills that I need to fine tune and whether it be Canva, whether it be any of the tools that are within your brokerage, What are the tools that you need to master to be able to do your job just a little bit better? And it's not 10 a day. It's what is the one I'm going to focus on for this week? What is the one I'm going to focus on for this month? What is the one I want to focus on for this quarter? Because I always giggle when agents come to me and say, I'm going to get my bold trails all set up this week. And I just laugh because Bold Trails, like any platform, is humongous. It's like Canva. I'm going to learn to do everything in Canva this week. Nuh-uh. Unless you're going to be up 24/7 for the entire week, you're not going to learn everything you need in one week. I take it as a challenge. What's the one thing that I can go explore and learn? What's the one thing that I can go explore and learn? And I always giggle when people come back at me and go, well, how'd you know all this? Well, I learned it one at a time. And I'm still learning. I still have as much to learn as I have learned. So it's always, always a growth. I'd like to say that's what's going to keep us young. I'm just thinking. Okay. So as you're looking at the quarter, make sure that you take, again, just a few minutes to sit back and say, okay, what's my priority for my business, for my personal, for family, for finances, for the house? Do you have projects at the house that need to be done? Great. What needs to be done? When are you going to do them? What things need to get tackled in the next quarter? Break it down. Here's one thing I want to remind you when it comes to your marketing. You cannot control the results. Just because you sent out 100 postcards does not guarantee 20 new transactions. So you cannot control the results, but what you can control is the activity and the consistency. So what you can control is, am I getting the right message to the right target? Am I doing it regularly? Is it the third week of every month? Am I consistent with this? And is the right message going to the right target? So again, you cannot control the result, but you can control the activities. That's like, when agents come and say they want to do open houses, that's okay, but do you know your numbers? Well, I want to do 10 transactions from, open houses. Okay, that's great. But do you know the numbers? Stats have shown for 4 to 6 to come to an open house, you need to do 10 open houses to actually generate one active buyer or seller. Did you know that? And they step back and go, oh, I didn't know that. Well, are you willing to do the 10 to get the one? Now, because you may have to do 8 with nothing before you get the one. And then there may be a gap of another 9 before you get the one. So know your numbers, making sure you're getting the right message to the right target. And if you're doing open houses, I'm just going to say, for example, in high-end price points, 90% of those people that are going to come to that house either A, can't afford it, or B, are already working with an agent. Where does that leave you? A looky-loo neighbor, maybe? So if that is where you're wanting to go, make sure that you have gotten some good, solid advice around you. All right, that is going to wrap it down and wind it up. Here's some fun quotes I want to end with for you today. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Okay, there's another one that I love is what has gotten you here is not going to get you there. Because what you've done so far has gotten you to where you're at today, right now. Is that okay with you? Or do you want just a wee bit more? So in order to get a wee bit more, you're going to need to do something a little bit different. It ties into if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. Is that okay? If it is, great. If it's not, maybe we need to adjust. Success is rarely complicated. Consistency is what is complicated. It needs to be continuous. The future isn't created someday. It's created today. Because as you know, who's ever looked at a calendar? Do you have someday as a day of the week on your calendar? Because if man, if I ever open my calendar up and it says someday, we are in trouble because someday is not a day of the week. But do you know how often we say someday I'm going to do? Someday I'm going to do. Someday I'm going to do, or I'll get around to it. Yeah. If someday ever popped up on a calendar, we are in big trouble. I'm just saying. Oftentimes, too, when agents come to me and kind of, wanting me to help kind of evaluate where they're at, I'll ask them, show me your calendar. If it's blank and I have to put, sunglasses on because the snow glare, it's all white, that tells me a whole lot right there. All right. So your calendar should be a coloring book. And I don't care if it's done digitally or if it's done still, pen and paper, or pencil and pen or crayons or lip liner or highlighters on paper. It should be a coloring book. Remember too, don't confuse movement with progress. We can move and not make any progress. The plan doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to exist. Plans are always tweaked and adjusted. I think when I hear that, when I think of pilots, they know they're going from point A to point B. But if there's turbulence ahead or there's a storm ahead, they're going to alter just slightly to go over, under, around, or through that turbulence or that storm. We sometimes need to do the same thing. And the other closing words of wisdom is just start making progress. Take it one step at a time. Because if we say, I'm going to go from point A to point B, it's like saying, I'm going to go from here at the office to home, but I'm going to wait until all the lights are green before I hit the road. I'm in trouble. Because if there's a backup on the 95, I ain't going anywhere real fast. Okay. So, can your path be altered? If you need to, yeah. If there's a road closure, not a problem. If there's construction, not a problem. There's more than one way to get from point A to point B. Have your plan, monitor, measure, reflect on it, and if it needs to be adjusted, you adjust. Okay? You don't head out and you hit a stop light and you sit there and cry because I can't go because the light's red. Well, you could run the red, but probably not a good idea because then you'd have a red light behind you pulling you over. So all of these fun little life scenarios and strat all kind of mix and merge all in together. All right. So my friends, the takeaway to this is focus on the next quarter. Focus on the next 12 weeks. Don't worry about what you can't control. Worry about what you can control. You can control what you're going to do and when you are going to do it. Okay? So with that, has this been helpful? Has there been any aha takeaways that you've just gone, this is a good one? Okay? All right. Hopefully this has been helpful. This session is, as I said, being recorded. It will be downloaded and added. Thank you for the thumbs up and the yeses. I will download it onto my website, Agent Resource Center, the drop down tab to listen and learn. It's going to go on there. And make sure if you do listen to any of them that you subscribe. That way you'll get a bing when the next one gets posted. And give it a thumbs up and a nice comment. And encourage your fellow agents, regardless of where you're at in our footprint, to come and enjoy and chime in as well. Thank you for taking the time to be with me today. Thank you for being open to some new ideas, learning some new ideas. But bottom line is, I don't care what you know. I want to know what you're doing with what you know. Go do something with what you know, and you'll get a couple more steps ahead of the game. All right, my friends, class is dismissed, and I will see you in our next session coming soon. All right, bye for now.